Welcome to the Rainy Day Rabbit Holes podcast, your escape from the mundane.
Dive into the rich history of the Pacific Northwest with us and let your mind wander down the rabbit hole.
Because in the Northwest, it's always raining something weird. I am Shea.
And I'm Jody. Let's fall down the rabbit hole.
Hey there, rabbit holers. It's Shea here, and boy, do I have a treat for you this week.
She can hardly contain herself. It's such a treat.
So I think I've probably mentioned it on the podcast before, but earlier this year, I was a guest on the Tyrant In Training podcast featuring a really, really hilarious Irish podcaster and writer, Kevin Ryan. So the premise of his show is he has a guest on and then he helps them set up their own country that they are going to be the ruler of. And how terrible of a ruler they are is entirely up to them. So he asks a series of questions like about where would it be? What kind of government would you have? What kind of clothes do you wear? You know, do you have any weird rules? And then he throws in some curveballs and he's like, there's a scandal. And so you have to say what the scandal is. You have to go on a talk show to talk about it. And they ask you tough questions about the scandal. And Kevin is just flippin' hilarious.
He's very hilarious.
He's so good at this. And I had the best time. But here's the thing. Is he's really good at dragging the unhinged out of people.
Yeah. This is, by the way, my husband's favorite podcast episode with Shea on it ever, including all of ours, because it's so hilarious.
I sound completely unhinged in this podcast. So you guys already probably know me and know that I am slightly unhinged.
I was going to say that's just natural.
But I do not hold all of the viewpoints that I expressed on this podcast. Like, I am not for child labor, okay?
Shea is extremely creative and hilarious. So, yes, her mind can wander into corridors that are salacious and seedy, but she doesn't mean it.
So somehow it ended up with me kicking everybody off of Vashon Island. So instead of having a fictional island somewhere, I said, I'm just going to kick everybody off of Vashon Island, and they can only stay if they join my cat cult. So instead of setting up a country, I set up a theocracy, basically, and made myself the high priestess, and we all worshipped cats. It was called Felis Supernus.
Oh. A question.
Yes.
How many people stayed to join the cult?
5,000 people stayed to join the cult, and then another 5,000 came with me, I think.
Oh, wow.
I think so. I think I had about 10,000 people on my island.
Yeah, I figured a lot of Vashonians. I don't know if that's that's my term.
Vashonians. I like it. Let's go with it.
I feel like a lot of them would be like, yeah, I'm game.
Well, but here's the caveat: is Vashon is known for a thriving anti-vax community, and
long before COVID.
Yeah, and I said, actually, the funny thing is, though, is I read that they actually had pretty decent COVID vaccination, but they have not been vaccinating their kids for measles, mumps, and rubella.
Yeah,
and so I said that has to stop. Also, I kicked all the children off anyway.
Oh yeah, so
I said I would only allow them to stay if they became acolytes. So basically, they were like my little servants, and it kind of turned into child labor by accident. Didn't mean for it to.
All those things come naturally on accident. They just subtly creep into our consciousness.
Exactly.
It's never on purpose to have child labor.
It was not on purpose. So you guys need to listen. I had wacky ideas like making everybody wear clothing made only out of cat hair.
Oh my.
And separating them into communities based on the color of the cats. So that way you never had to worry about seeing cat hair on your clothes.
Oh my gosh.
Because A, your clothes were made out of cat hair. And B, they were made out of cat hair the same color of the cats that you lived with.
Right. That's a really good idea.
Yeah. I was like, because that's one of the downsides of owning a cat. Is
it is.
You always have cat hair on your clothes.
Yes. Well, but I'm thinking this through though, and I'm wondering because I have cats now. And
should you make all your clothes out of cat hair?
well, I have this chair in my office. It's like a dark gray. And you see all the white hair, but then they sit on something white and you see all the dark hair because they're multicolored cats.
Yep.
I got no win.
Yeah, I guess if you had a multicolored cat, your clothes would just have to be like
You're just versatile.
multicolor.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, if you're combing the cat and then you're pulling all the hair out of the cat brush and there's all the different colors in there, and then you take that and you weave that into fabric, then it'll just be kind of like it'll be like
a blend.
A blend
mix.
anyway. So it'll be perfect.
Yeah,
See?
yeah.
I thought it was a brilliant idea.
It
I
is.
also thought that all the furniture should be upholstered with cat hair. Now, this is a lot of cat hair I'm having to come up with, by the way. I just realized.
It's going to take years and years, decades to get there. No, maybe not. I mean, cats breed pretty well. We could get a lot of cats.
There's got to be a way that you can blend the cat hair with other natural fibers. Maybe I have a hemp farm. Now I'm revisiting this and making it bigger and better. Maybe we have a hemp farm on the island.
Why don't you just write a book?
Felis Supernus. My time as the high priestess of the cat island.
Yes. I believe you would be successful. You can do those order to print books on Amazon. Like you write the book and you don't pay for it to be published. They order it and pay for it. And that's how you make money.
I should do this with Kevin. Because it could be like basically a Q&A session to build this fantasy island. Because he's very good at thinking up new situations. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. We'll do that.
Good idea.
Good idea. All right. Again, listening back to this episode, I sound completely unhinged, but it was an absolute blast. And Kevin has this like incredible ability to bring out the most absurd ideas you never knew you had. And I mean, like, before you know it, you're the high priestess of a feline-based theocracy.
Happens.
It just happens to the best of us. Yes. Yeah. Some of our friends have been on it as well. So Stephen and Laura from the Midday Musings podcast had a great episode.
Oh, I'll have to listen to that. I didn't hear theirs.
And I think they had a horse-based economy.
Oh.
Which I thought was pretty good. Yeah.
It's strong.
Yeah, it was strong. Yeah. So that was pretty good. They're such like smart and reasonable people though.
So intelligent.
Even when they had an unhinged idea, it sounded very reasonable.
Well, it sounded like it could work.
Absolutely. Grab your umbrellas and your sense of humor, because this week we're taking a detour from our usual rabbit holes to dive into the hilarious world of Tyrant In Training. Trust me, you won't want to miss this one.
This is a Vashon rabbit hole.
Yes.
I had to fictional, make it, but it's still a Vashon rabbit hole.
I had to make it Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, you did, and you did a good job. I tried to turn the whole week I was in Hawaii, I was trying to see how I could turn this into a Northwest podcast, but I won't bore you with the trip.
Hey, I did it with Japan.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I'm not doing that to people.
All right, well, this one is perfectly ridiculous. Perfectly ridiculous. Which one do we go with?
Very close. Perfectly.
And I think I said perfectly delicious, not ridiculous.
You did.
It's also delicious. Oh, warning, I say the word tits quite frequently.
It's a titty episode. It's a kitty titty episode.
All right, guys. Well, enjoy the episode, and please make sure to check out Tyrant In Training. You can find Tyrant In Training on all of the podcast platforms, and they also have a website. It's tyrantintraining.io, I want to say. So, and Kevin is going to be on our podcast coming up really soon. So you get a little more taste of Kevin's hilarity. All right, guys. We will see you next time, and
see you down the rabbit hole.
Hello there and welcome to the Tyrant In Training podcast. This is an improv comedy podcast where guests live out their tyrannical, maniacal, benevolent or malevolent fantasies. I'm Kevin Ryan and I'll be acting as the host and also the sycophantic supporter of every guest, no matter how terrible their ideas are. Today's guest is one half of the Rainy Day Rabbit Holes podcast. Her name is Shea and Jody. Rainy Day Rabbit Holes podcast is all about the Pacific Northwest, telling stories about its history like the old spooky Montana State Prison, and their culture in the region like the competitive octopus wrestling, of course, and how it's also the home of the world's largest organism, which I could have easily said another word there instead, but I didn't. The co-host of Rainy Day Rabbit Holes podcast and guest for today, Shea and Jody, is also known as the High Priestess of Felis Supernus Island, an island overtaken by a cult worshipping the cat god Bastet, and here is a few ramblings of a mad woman.
Well, everybody always tells me I'd make a great cult leader. I mean, do I have to bring out my army of orcas and capsize the boat? Also, they look like they're the cat clowns, so I'm into that. Sweet and angelic children slave laborers. I'm the high priestess, goddammit.
Don't forget, you can subscribe to the Tyrant In Training podcast everywhere you find podcasts. You can follow the podcast on social media at Tyrant Podcast on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And for more info, there's a website, which is tarantintraining.podcast page.
Really deep down, I want to have a cult.
So is the cult worshipping cats, or are cats the ones in charge, or what way?
Yes, we are worshipping cats.
You are not a cat yourself.
I would be the leader.
Yeah, you're not dressed in a style of a cat, or you're not having cat-like mannerisms or anything.
No.
Okay.
Have you seen the show with Nicole Kidman, 9 Perfect Strangers?
Is that what? No, I haven't. I haven't watched it. I think Celine has.
Okay, so she's like this self-help guru, and like all these people go to her compound for this like retreat, like self-help retreat, and unbeknownst to them, she's dosing them with psychedelics.
Right.
But it's very like woo-woo, and she's dressed in all these like flowing white clothes. Yeah. Imagine that. But it'd be a combination between 9 Perfect Strangers, the Rajneesh Puram cult, which I don't know if you saw the documentary Wild Wild Country about the cult that took over a town in Oregon. Yes, I think I did. Yes. That guru, he like had the world's largest collection of Rolexes and Rolls Royces. Right. And then there's a new cult in Oregon called the Twin Ray Cult. And if you just Google Twin Ray Cult, Ashland, Oregon, you'll see these people, and they're like all white flowing clothing and a lot of cultural appropriation. Like she has the bendy on her forehead, and they're hilarious. God. So is that one that's ongoing? Like that's a new one, yeah. Oh, and they like to sell very expensive jewelry to people, and they're very weird. I follow them on Instagram just because they're so out there. I mean, I wonder, do I message them saying, "Listen, I have a podcast that's right up your alley. You are gonna love this podcast." So you were going straight for a cult. Well, everybody always tells me I'd make a great cult leader, and I did one of those online tests, like, would you be a cult follower or a cult leader? And it was a cult leader, so I'm gonna go with it. I am bossy. Oh, when people tell you that, are they complimenting you, or it's my friends? My friends, my very close friends tell me. They say you make a great cult leader, Shay. But they don't say that when you make the decision on something, and then they say, you know what, you'd make a great cult leader, and you're like, they're my friends. That's you. Okay. Yeah. No, we can definitely go in for it. So because you have your podcast, which is the Rainy Day Rabbit Hole podcast. Yes. Rabbit holes. Rabbit holes. Rabbit holes. Rabbit holes. We go down rabbit holes. Yeah. Holes. You don't just go down hole. You can't. Oh, yeah. Sorry. You can't say hole on this podcast. You can. Oh, by the way, that's the thing. As a guest and as the ruler of your own country, you get to decide what direction we take this podcast in. So if you are throwing out curse words, you go right on at it. If you want to say rabbit hole instead of rabbit holes, you go right on at it. I'm not judging. But because that deals with the Pacific Northwest, which I only assumed was Oregon, I didn't realize it was like the coast of America. So the Pacific Northwest is basically like the left-hand corner of North America. So it includes Alaska, British Columbia, Canada, because Alaska and mainland United States is separated by Canada, right? Yeah. So you have to go through Canada to get to Alaska if you're going to like drive there. Yeah. So the Pacific Northwest includes Alaska, British Columbia, Washington State, Idaho, parts of Montana, right, Oregon, and the very northern part of California. That's what I was wondering when I was listening to your podcast, and I first heard, so we were dealing with California, and I was like, these guys don't understand the concept of their own podcast. How dare they? Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Technically is not considered part of the Pacific Northwest because it gets separated by the Bay Area, is kind of where the Pacific ends when you get hit to the Bay Area. But I was taking artistic liberties. It's my damn podcast. It is, and this is your podcast. Sorry, I wasn't calling you out. Don't do the same to me. The reason why you're bringing it up is that the first thing we have to figure out is on this podcast, if you're going to create your own country / cult, where are you going to put your island? Because we're not going to take over an area.
we're going to create an island for you so you can have all your citizens stay there. I was going to assume it was Pacific Northwest, but you want to get out of
I
there.
have a specific place in mind for my takeover. So
yeah,
in Washington State, we have the Puget Sound, which is an inland sea, basically, and it's connected to the ocean, but it's this big body of water that is the Puget Sound. And just north of Tacoma, Washington, is this island called Vashon Island. And it is kind of, there's like a lot of hippies there. It used to be a lot of farms. It's where they grew strawberries a long time. But now it's like a lot of hippies and anti-vaxxers live there, and very rich people. So I would kick all the rich people and anti-vaxxers out, and I would take over Vashon Island.
Oh, look at that. So it's near Seattle.
Yes. It's between Seattle and Tacoma in the water, basically.
Are you kicking them out to, and this is all brand new information to me, but are you kicking them all out to Maury Island? Maury Island is next door.
No, Maury Island is still going to, there's actually a man-made isthmus that connects Maury Island to Vashon Island. So Maury Island is going to be part of it.
Oh, so you're taking that too.
Maury Island is where the Maury Island incident took place, which was one of my recent podcasts, which was a UFO encounter, supposedly. And it was the origin of the Men in Black cultural phenomenon as well. And flying saucers, the term was originated here as well.
Jeez, hold on. Do you just want to redo that episode on this podcast? That's way more interesting than... Oh, no, we'll stick to the cult. We'll listen to that later. Okay. Oh, very good. Okay. Usually, I would say, no, we won't take over anywhere because that gets into war, but we'll put you we'll create a new island for you. But screw that. I mean, if you're adamant for this is your podcast. You want Vashon? Have you ever been there?
What?
You've been there before, have you?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so you and your how many people are going to live on this island then?
I would say we're going to have about let's make it 5,000 people on this island.
So you just want a small little 10,000 people live there apparently right now.
Okay, well, we can keep it 10,000 people. That's fine.
So
we're not. Well, if they want to stay, they have to join my theocracy and my cult. So if they cannot conform to that, then they have to leave, and they will be vaccinated.
Do you know? I was recently talking to someone, and we brought up. Do you know the phrase of lachronic wit? It's the Spartan wit.
No,
so
I don't know this.
Do you know how this is an example? Do you know the movie 300?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's just action movie. Do you know at the start of it they have a guy come in? He's like a messenger for the bad guys, and he's like, "Oh, we want to take over your land." And Jared Butler puts on a Scottish Spartan accent, and he's like, "No." And then the messenger says, "Oh, this is madness." And then he says, "This is Sparta," and he kicks him. And he's very cool and tough and manly. That's like, the way how that's an action hero line. Just to say, this is Sparta, and then bang. That's like Spartan wit. So like someone like Batman in movies, anytime he says something that's a little bit humorous, like he has Spartan wit. It's like straight to the point, blunt retorts to something, right? Okay. So there is, like, to give an actual example of in history, the King of Macedon, Philip II, right? He went into Greece, he was taking over a couple of city-states, and then he got as far as Sparta, and he sent a letter to say, listen, should I come as friend or foe to your state? And he got a reply back that just said one word, saying neither, right? So that's like Spartan wit. And then he sent another letter, and the letter said, listen, if I invade Sparta, you're all dead, right? And then he got back another letter, and the letters had one word in it, and it said if. And that's like Spartan wit, right? It's very like cut down, it's very good. It's very fun when you can do stuff like that. When I was talking about this and I was looking her up, I was like, oh yeah, think cool Spartan, imagine that. Imagine someone like some big tough guy saying to you, listen, if I fight you, I'm going to beat you up. And then you just reply back, if. You're like, oh, I feel really cool, right? But then in the story, Philip II went, oh, for fuck's sake, and went in and destroyed the place. So it doesn't make him seem as good. Jared Butler is a bit of a coward. But I know I brought that up. But what I will bring up is that if you go in and, screw it, you're taking over Vashon Island. Are you renaming it?
Yes.
So what's the rename? What are we...
Well, so my country is based upon the exaltation of cats, right? as
Yeah.
superior creatures. So I'm gonna bring a little bit of, I almost said Italian, but that is wrong, Latin into this. So it's the Felis Supernus Island.
Hold on, I'm gonna have to write these down for accuracy. Felis
Supernus.
Supernus.
Supernus. Felis Supernus. That's
Okay.
the name of our,
What does Felis Supernus? It's super cat, super felines.
like godlike cat, exalted cat above all else.
Now,
Superior.
I'm going to say out of the 10,000 people who used to live on Vashon Island, and 5,000 of them have agreed to stay on Felis Supernus. So they're all in.
So they leave. Yeah.
The rest of them leave. 5,000 stay. You have 10,000 of your own followers. So that's a 15,000 landmass. I'm going to assume there's not overcrowding. It's pretty good, right?
Well, it's communal living.
Mm.
So, it's not like everybody has their own house.
No,
there's going to be a lot of communal living. Yeah.
But that's
so
15,000 people. 15,000 people on the island isn't overcrowding the whole place. We're good. I'm going to pretend.
So right now, with 10,000 people, half of the island is very rural.
Yeah.
Most of the island is very rural. So big lots, and so you can definitely fit, especially if you're going to fit 30 people in one house.
Yeah, no, you'll be good. God, so when we have 15,000 people on Felis Supernus, well, actually, the first thing is to figure out is, what are they calling you, the leader of this island?
I had thought about this. I could be her. I'm going to be like a high priestess, right? So
Okay.
I will be the link for people to speak to the cat goddess Bastet, of course. We got to bring some Egyptian lore into here. Bastet. Yes, the Egyptian god of cat. God of cat.
God of cat. God
of cat.
Oh, Bastet. Bastet, yes.
High priestess. Yes. So I could just be high priestess. I'm fine with high priestess.
Yeah. Okay, so I just have them written down. High priestess of the Bastet god.
Yes.
Was Bastet? Oh, goddess. Sorry, of protection, pleasure, and the bringer of good health. Yeah, she had the head of a cat and a slender female body.
Yep.
Okay, so that's pretty good. Okay, so are you living in a house with other people, or do you get away from all those lunatics?
Well, yeah. Okay, so here's how it'll be set up. All right, yes. I've thought about this, right? So we have the island, and the island is going to be made up of separate villages.
Yeah.
Because in each village, we're going to have different cats.
Okay.
And it's going to be based on fur color. So that way, and hear me out. I have a reason. All of the clothing and any sort of fabric or cloth that anybody uses is going to be woven from cat hair.
Okay, go on. I'll have questions after. Yeah.
You brush your cats. You know how much cat hair you get off of those damn things, right? Like when you brush a cat and you pull these big wads of hair off of the brush, you know how much hair comes off the cat, and then you can easily weave that into clothing. It'll be very soft and lovely. And so the reason you have people in villages based upon cat hair color is that way you weave your hair out of the cat hair of the cats that live with you, and so then you never can tell that you have cat hair on you. Do you see my logic here?
Okay, that last part had logic. I was just thinking, and I don't disagree with the idea that there's a lot of cat fur around, but enough for a tuxedo for 15,000 people?
Tuxedos on my island.
You're not allowed tuxedo. A man can look good for his
tie event
for their wedding. If someone was going to a wedding.
No, okay, get yourself in the mindset of a cult, right? So it's like flowy, think of that like flowy hippie clothing. Everything's comfortable. There's a lot of cardigans. I love a cardigan.
Right.
But they're woven out of, so cat hair would be like Angora hair. So think of like the softest Angora sweater. That sounds lovely, right? Like a nice soft Angora alpaca sweater. It's all soft, but it's just cat hair.
It sounds lovely, but I found a piece of clothing made of cat hair. And it's not as appealing when you see the visual. The visual isn't as good.
Oh.
Ew. I cannot describe what the hell is that.
I mean, what's happening there?
That is, That's all you
No,
get.
no, no. This is just, it'll be normal looking clothing. So just imagine if all your clothing was made out of alpaca. If you were rich and a hippie,
Yeah.
you would get all your clothing made out of like hemp and alpaca. But instead, it's just the cat hair. It's from brushing the cats, and then they collect that. And then we have people on the island that are artisans, and they weave it into beautiful clothing.
Okay, so we're going full on. Yeah, and they'll all have different colors, and your color is
Well,
what was
because
it?
I'm the high priestess, I will have to just wear white, which
Yeah.
means my own home will have to have white and light colored cats in it. Oh, also, here's the thing, because a lot of people are allergic to cats, but might still like cats. So if you are unwilling to take medication for the cats, then you can live in the hairless cat village.
Oh yeah, you would have hairless cats, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
types of cats
sphinxes
are welcome.
and then the Rexes are the ones who have a little bit of hair.
Yeah.
And then you can wear whatever color clothing you like. Or you could be nude.
Or you could wear this sort of, this is Bastet, the god.
Oh,
so
that's
you
a
could
good
wear,
one. Yeah, I like the collar.
right?
Yeah,
I, d-
yeah, that's a good one.
I don't know
Does
why
that-
I don't know.
That my tits were out though.
It's very low down, isn't it? That is a nipple. Sorry, I shouted out. That is a nipple. Jesus, zoom.
That is a nipple.
That is. I don't know.
That's a boob.
That's we've discovered that. I don't know why I like the little butt.
Yeah, I like
thrown
the
in as
little
well.
butt.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're wearing that sort of thing. It's your own thing, but I pull that top up a bit. That'd be me. That'd be my decision.
It's kind of cold here in the Pacific Northwest. We have weather that's fairly similar to yours, and so
Yeah.
I don't know if I want my tits out all the time. Maybe in the summer
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
special occasion, I'll bring my tits out.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no formal events though, so you won't. Okay. This cult is really throwing off the questions. So
Sorry. Well, you were asking about my own home. My own
That's
home
true.
would be a compound in the center of the island where that would be like where all the big ceremonies would happen.
Oh,
And
so
it
you're
would be a
working from home.
beautiful, open, palatial type of place. And I would have staff that lived with me, but otherwise it's just me and the cats and my
How many cats roughly do you think are going to be at your house?
however many want to be.
Oh, so if they show up, they're welcome. However many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically the island turns into a giant cat sanctuary, right? So we have to kick off any predators. I don't know if there's any coyotes on Vashon, but they would have to be rehomed.
There is.
And then because cats really love to kill, they're murderers at heart. We would have to have a bird sanctuary somewhere on the island that the cats couldn't get into, just so that the birds could have a safe place.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't make the what was it, Maury Island? That's
a great idea. Maury Island is the bird sanctuary.
Yeah, you have a nice bridge over then, and you can go there when you fancy checking out some of the birds.
Yeah, perfect.
I was just seeing there is a couple of islands that are cat sanctuaries. There's I'm not going to pronounce it right, but Aoshima in Japan is known as Cat Island.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not quite sure how many cats are on it at the minute. But yeah, you'll have a load of cats, I'm sure. So I do have a problem though, because a lot of people, especially the ones who are citizens of Vashon Island who stayed on Felis Supernus, they're actually referring to the island as Paraguay. Now, are you allowing that, or?
That's fine. I'll allow it.
You enjoy a pun?
I'm sorry?
You enjoy the pun on the name?
Say it again.
Paraguay. Yeah.
I'm not thrilled with it. I think you would have to not refer to it as Paraguay in front of me. But I'm not going to punish you if I find out that you've been referring to it as.
You'll do what?
That. I will not punish you
if
I find you've been referring to it as Paraguay.
So if you walk down the street and they shouted at you while your back is turned, you're okay?
If they're shouting at me in order to be belligerent and create havoc, then I don't know. We might have to have some words.
You know what's going to happen?
You know what?
Yeah.
It's letterbox duty for you.
A lot of kids are doing it. A lot of 12-year-olds running around the streets shouting Paraguay.
Kevin, we didn't talk about this, did we?
Oh no.
Children are not allowed in my island.
We're murdering children.
No, we're not murdering them.
Okay, we're throwing them off the island.
Look, I have a line. And I'm
yes.
not at murdering.
It's important for me to find it. It's important for this podcast to find the line early.
No, I'm sorry. Children are not allowed on the island. They have to leave the island.
So if you have children, you have to get rid of them in some way.
That sounds nefarious. That sounds like people They're murdering their children to get rid of them.
But just in the situation that some people said, I love Vashon Island, and you know what? The high priestess seems like she knows what I'm doing. Husband, I think it's time we stay on the island and join this cult. And then they say, what we do with our 14-year-olds?
I mean, I guess it'd have to be on a case-by-case basis. They would have to apply to be, what's the term for the people that are like the interns at a temple? There's a term for it.
Grunts?
Acolytes?
Oh, acolytes. Is that it?
Yeah. They'd have to apply to be an acolyte, and they would be in very strict rules for those acolytes. They could not act like little assholes.
So you are only allowing children on the island if they are acolytes who work at your house.
Yes.
So you have children working
I do
as
support
your servants.
Yes.
As your servants. Okay, so there's 6-year-olds.
Yes, I support children if they will do labor for me. Yes, thank you.
Okay, and you say that as a guest on this podcast and a host of the Rainy Day Rabbit Holes podcast, that you support the manual labor of 6-year-olds. Okay. So for Felis Supernus, what unusual list is your, I say country, but it's a cult, come on. What unusual list is your country top of in the world?
We have the most award-winning hosta garden in the world.
What type of garden?
Hosta. It's a type of plant.
Oh,
and
okay.
You want to know why it is the most award-winning hosta garden in the world?
Because there's no garden in the world that has all them in it.
Because we fertilize with cat shit. Which
is perfect for, what's it called? Hosta.
Hosta.
Oh, that's so specific. Would that not work on any sort of garden?
But there's hundreds of varieties, and we will have as many varieties as there are, and it will be the most beautiful garden. And also I have child labor to tend to the garden, so you know.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, they control catch it and the plants all summer long. Do you know what the newspaper on Felis Supernus, how it announces the winning, how it announces your country winning that award? You know what the headline says? Hasta la vista, baby. There you go. See, it's another pun for you. Still trying to gauge how much you hate them.
Was that AI? Thanks, AI.
That works. There is a problem, high priestess, that you know this was coming. It's been coming for the last 6 months. There's a scandal about to break out involving you. Everyone is right on board this cult, but honestly, after this, some of them are talking maybe we should go back to Vashon Island. Maybe we should get rid of the cats. So they're just wondering, since you're the link to Bastet, you see, it's such a terrible tragedy. But this scandal, they're wondering, what scandal did you get involved in?
Well, I've forced everyone on the island to become vegetarian, except for raising animals for cat food. But I secretly have been eating bacon.
Oh, you've been eating pigs?
Yeah, I've been eating bacon. I've been having it flown in, as well as lobsters and crabs, while everybody else has vegetables. So I've been eating like a queen.
Lobsters, crabs, bacon. That's the only three. You chicken? No?
Chicken, I can take it or leave it.
Really? God, I wouldn't know what to do without it. But okay.
I do love me some bacon though.
Because this cult, I'm imagining, there is a stadium or an arena in Felis Supernus, I imagine, somewhere.
It's an auditorium.
Yeah. And they've decided that maybe you need to go speak to Anderson, one of your more charismatic followers. He's going to interview you and ask you what's going on here with Meatgate. Would you be okay
Anderson,
with that?
Is that who we're talking to?
It's a cousin who looks exactly like him and sounds like him, but is in no way in contact with him. They had a falling out.
Okay.
Yeah.
His name is Banderson.
Yeah. Well, you'd be okay with speaking to him in front of everyone, right? Explain yourself.
Of course.
Yeah. Anderson comes on stage, everyone shouts, "Woo, we love you." He gives them all a high five. Takes actually 3 hours to go around high five everyone. And he comes back to you and he says, "High priestess, let's get down to brass tacks. The hell's wrong with Meatgate? What are you doing?"
Oh, and I'm supposed to respond?
I would like you to respond. Yes, I'm sorry if we're too low on your list of priorities, but if you could respond, that would be lovely.
Oh,
the crowd are booing you.
Why did I do this? Why did I do this?
The crowd are booing you heavy, by the way. They are not happy with that response.
I am the high priestess. I stand above everybody else. And I have so many responsibilities. I have to administrate the care and feeding and love of all of these cats and all of the people on the island. I have so many responsibilities. And unfortunately, the vegetarian diet was just not enough to keep me going. And with the stress of it all, I just needed a little bit more hearty sustenance.
But
and also, my favorite cats that live with me demanded it as well.
But hold on, we are all under stress here. We're all praying to Bastet every day, or doing whatever we're meant to be doing. Some of us have kicked our children off the island, like you commanded it, or like Bastet commanded it, like you told us.
Yes.
Why don't you just eat more carrots like the rest of us?
I needed the protein. Also,
you don't. Barbecue sauce on carrot is lovely.
The cats demanded it. I have 5 cats living with me that personally have told me through Bastet that they desire bacon, crab, and lobster.
But if they desire it, why are you eating it on them? You are eating food on our beloved cats?
They asked me to partake in meals with them, so I was just doing what the cats told me to do.
And what is that? What is that a sign of? What's
devotion.
That telling us? What?
It's a sign of devotion.
So should we?
But I exalt these cats, and I will do anything for them. So when they ask me to partake in a meal with them, I will partake in a meal with them. I was just doing what our Lord and Master Goddess Bastet told me to do.
So we should all partake in meals with our cats, is what you're saying?
No, just my cats told me to do it.
So we will partake.
Personally. It was a me personally thing.
Oh,
I'm better than them.
you just pointed. So you're pointing at the crowd saying I'm better than them. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I'm the high priestess, goddammit. How dare you to me? Litterbox doing it for you.
I have a feeling this is the point where you get out your acolytes of 10-year-olds to be like, usher everyone away. This is enough. Do they have weapons?
They're armed.
They're armed with guns.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not guns, but
clubs.
Nice swords.
Okay. So the children with swords grab you and get you out of there.
Yes, whip me away. My Rolls Royce
with a cat on the front of it, like not a living cat, a statue. What do you call it?
The emblem is a cat, of course.
Perfect.
And only the cat hair seats.
Jeez. There has to be a black market of people on the island shaving cats just to get more hair.
Oh, they'll get kicked off the island.
There's definitely, because what would have happened is you would have these small little businesses where they're making nice clothes and stuff made of cat hair, but it'll take me 3 weeks to make this whole outfit for you, because I have to get enough cat hair, and some bastard will come along and go, I can make you a new suit I can make you a tuxedo in 5 hours. And they go into the back.
Out of a tuxedo cat.
Yeah, they go into the back and they have 100 cats that they just shave.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
They'll become the richest people. They are Jeff Bezos, and they have come to your island.
Amazon did start in the Pacific Northwest, Did
it?
Or was it? No, it started in the Bay Area, but its headquarters was in the Pacific Northwest. Or its headquarters are in Seattle.
I do have a question I'll move on to, because this perfectly fits with the whole cult vibe you've gone for. What fantastic, and actually it's perfect after that scandal. What fantastical fact do you want to send out into the rest of the followers that they can believe about you?
About me?
Yeah, you're the high priestess after all. You're better than all of them. You just openly declared.
I mean, I'm just telling the truth. What amazing fact about me?
Yeah, that's really wowed them into submission.
Well, I'm on my 6th life of 9.
Oh, naturally. Okay. I need to know 5 lives. What happened? Give us a brief life number 1.
Oh, well, it's not my first carnation as a high priestess of Bastet. I've been reincarnated multiple times.
The previous 5.
Excuse me?
The previous 5 lives you had, you've been the high priestess.
I've been a priestess the whole time. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So yes, my spirit is with ancient Egypt. That's when I was born.
Yes. So you started in Egypt. Did you go through history? So you're doing a quantum leap type thing where you keep, or Blackadder, where you keep showing up at different parts of history.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Yes, let's go with that.
Yeah. You were actually Jack the Ripper at one point. That's
I have thought to dispose of a body more often than most people, so possibly, yes.
You've thought of disposing?
Doesn't everybody?
No.
You never think about how you would get away with a murder?
No.
I've listened to too much true crime. Everybody who's a true crime fanatic has thought about this a lot.
Okay, no, I've never thought about that. I've thought about how if zombies suddenly attacked, like where would we go? Me and Celine had a very big argument about trying to get to a flying boat. But anyway, no, okay, what would you do? Okay, there's a dead body on the island. It was someone who tried to bring a dog into the place to take over, and they got murdered by your...
Well, I do still love dogs, but they have to be cat-friendly dogs.
Oh, this dog wasn't.
Okay. So you know what you do is you just... Actually, what you could do is you feed it to the pigs that you then feed to the cats. I mean... It's a circle of life, buddy.
So that's how you... So when you've thought about how would you get away with a murder, which is a TV show, you thought, I need to buy pigs.
I mean, Robert Picton did it. If it was good enough for Robert Picton, it was good enough for me.
That's the way you should live. By thinking, yeah. Okay, fair enough. I've never thought about that. I'm a nice person.
You're like, okay, bye. It's been nice talking to you.
I'm going to ask people that now. I might throw that in as an extra question from now on. Someone dies in front of your yard.
If you have any friends who are really into true crime, ask them, honestly, have you, when you're listening to one of these stories, thought about what you would do to get rid of a body? When, you know, you've got the stupid criminals that do stupid things and they get caught. Most true crime fans I know have thought about, oh, no. Here's how you would do it to get away with it.
Actually, okay, yes. I thought it was literally like you sitting down and having like none of that. Not, oh, I'm watching true crime and they do something. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't do that.
No, this is not separated from true crime.
Right,
I am not.
okay.
I promise. At least not much of one.
This isn't you going into a restaurant with friends and eating dinner, and then while they're all chatting about stuff, you're sitting there going, this place is crowded. If I murdered someone, how would I get out of here? No, okay, that's fine.
No, but now I'm going to.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I do think are people going to be celebrating your birthday, or are they just going to be celebrating Bastette Day?
I think both. And in fact, I was thinking about this because I really do like celebrations. I like a parade and I like trivia night. I know those are not the same thing. So I think on my island, we would have a trivia night every Wednesday.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to just be about cats because I love trivia. But there is one rule: no sports in the trivia. I'm very, very bad at sports questions and trivia. So
no sports at all.
In the trivia questions, you cannot have sports related questions at all.
But what would sports be allowed on this island of cat crazy people?
Sure, why not?
But you will not partake.
Physical activity, so
yeah, you won't be partaking even as a watcher.
No, I'm not a sports ball person.
No, but you okay? So as long as they're not in your quiz, that's fine.
It's not in my quiz. Yes, so there's no sports based questions in my trivia, and then also once a month we'll have a parade celebrating cats, and people have to make costumes and floats
made out of cats. I mean, cat hair.
No, they can make them out of other things.
Okay.
I really do love paper mache, so I highly encourage paper mache.
Some people are making art that is very anti-dog. Very like, once we get rid of all the dogs in the world, it'll be a perfect place for cats.
Oh, we're going to have to send them to some sort of school to teach them tolerance and inclusivity.
Oh, okay. And they're not allowed out of the school until then. Are the school taught by the children, just with swords?
Taught by the children? No, we'll have inclusivity training,
right? So
that you're inclusive to other animals as well, but we still have to protect our cats. But no, I do not believe. I love dogs. I do not believe that all dogs should be eliminated from this world. I just do not dogs that attack on our island.
If you want, because I've got you on tape now saying that you like to have children with swords in their hands working for you. If you want to say that again about the nice part about dogs are okay with you, and I won't speak, we'll have it a clean bit for you.
Oh, about the dogs? I like dogs. I do not believe that all dogs should be eliminated from the world. So I will institute animal inclusivity training on the island.
And
taught by children.
I assume all animals then are okay on the island, as long as they're friendly to cats.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Gerbils.
Oh yeah. So the cats will probably eat them. So they probably should not come on the island unless people are okay with their gerbils getting eaten.
I mean, they'll be locked up in the cage.
Okay, that's fine. In fact, if we could create an entertainment center for cats, that basically is the cage of the little rodents for the cats to just sit and watch, like cat TV.
Oh, you'd surely have cat TV on, right? Have you? Yeah, I've had cat TV on for these guys.
I used to the cat TV for my cat too. He loved the birds and the fish.
God, can you imagine the cat tree that you'd be building? That should be the next one.
Every home is a giant cat patio right? With
yeah.
like the everything is that was the other thing is all furniture has to double as scratching posts.
Have you ever gone into
excuse me?
I was going to say, have you ever gone into a house? I've gone into a house before where someone, the house was nice and everything, but they said the sitting room is always closed, like the sitting room. The doors are always closed because the cats might get in there, and you couldn't have the cats in there. You're like, what? Okay,
Because of the furniture.
Yeah, furniture was shit. It wasn't nice. I looked in. But yeah, so you wouldn't allow that.
Oh no, cats can go anywhere they want, basically. Do your cats do this to you when you're in the bathroom doing your business?
Texas.
Does your cat outside the door and beg to be let in?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, they get in.
Yeah, so I'd have to institute a cat door on the bathroom door policy because we can't allow the cats to be upset like that. It's not good for their mental health.
Okay, adding on to that then. I don't know if you've had this.
Will walk you while you poop.
I'm okay with that. But I don't know. So you've seen the first cat that you saw here, Hopper, jumped up on that all black cat.
That's not helpful.
When I take a shower, Hopper comes in and sits at the shower door and meows at me like needing to get into the shower. And he will jump up onto the top of the shower and then sit there dangling. And like if he falls into that, I like to take hot showers. So if he falls in, he's fecked and I am absolutely screwed if he jumps in. But are you okay with that? You're not making a cat door on the shower door?
No, I think we can limit it to that. But I don't think you are allowed to have the privacy of not making eye contact with your cat while pooping.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I agree. There is a knock on your door. Knock, knock, knock. Yeah. No. Oh, did you open it? Sorry, I didn't know what you were doing. Hello there. I'm Paul.
Hi.
One of your most ardent and loyal followers. Hello there. I have some good news. We have money in our accounts. We don't have much money because we don't have many people here, but we have a bit of money. Bit of money.
Okay.
I was actually going to fly you in sneakily a lot of bacon for a big bit of it.
Right.
I tried that, but apparently America doesn't like us taking their land, so they've kind of blocked all of the food coming in. They want.
No.
Now I'm actually going on holiday. So you can deal with it. But yeah, how are we going to get food into the place that'll feed 15,000 people and 250,000 cats?
Well, I did mention that we are raising animals for consumption of the cats, and we are doing farming. Vashon Island already has farms, so we're just taking over the farms.
So is it self-sufficient?
So we can make it. And also there's, it's an island and there's fish in the sea. Cats like fish.
No, they've turned off all the electricity.
We can make it work. We can be sustainable.
Okay, they've turned off the electricity.
We have solar panels. Every house has solar panels.
Okay, so you are totally self-sufficient.
We can be off the grid. There's wells, solar panels. We got fish. We're fine.
Do you know what? You look so smug. I know this is an audio medium. You look so smug about this. And I don't want to decide American policy, but fuck it. I think there's going to be boots on the ground on this. They want their island back. They want you out of there. Yeah, Paul's going away on holiday. He said, look, people are a bit worried. Maybe you should put on some celebrations or a photo op. But he's out of there. He's going on holiday to Seattle.
Okay.
I'm sure he'll come back. Yeah, do you think there should be a photo op? Because I mean, there's a lot of boats, military boats around your island now.
Oh, of course, because remember, we're practicing our religion. So I think we have basis to hold our land based upon religion. If other religions can do it, why can't my cat-based theocracy?
And I'm not American, but are you allowed to go into an area and remove thousands of people from that area and say, it's my religion to do this?
What's hilarious about what you just said is that's how this country was founded.
So that's your argument. You were going to go into the Supreme Court.
We are just going back to the 1492 Doctrine of Discovery, where the Pope said, go forth and conquer and bring Christianity to the world. And that's what the Spanish and everybody else did. And they came to North America and they pushed out the indigenous people, killed them and enslaved them. And it was because the Pope said they could. So, hey, we have precedent.
Does America recognize like an old Egyptian religion?
Probably not.
Yeah. So okay.
It's thoroughly Christian based over here, and I don't think they like the old Egyptian gods.
Do you want to adopt some Christian practices so you can kind of bullshit your way around and be like, look, we're practically Christian, and then they'll be like, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure we could fake it till we make it. Sure.
Yeah. So I think you need a photo op though. I think you need.
I definitely need a photo op. Yes,
So
I have my outfit.
So you have your outfit. I'm so sorry, I do not know you, but you have your outfit with your tits out. And Selena's
I think I should probably cover up my tits for the photo op, don't you think?
Selena's also downstairs, probably hearing that, going, "What the hell is he talking about?"
Why is this yelling tits out?
Okay, so you have your formal wear. What's the photo? I did
cover my tits for the photo op.
Just officially, you did. Okay. What's the plan? What are we doing? You know, you had Putin shirtless on the bear. What's your?
Well, okay, so I will be in my flowing white robes, which represents purity, right?
Yeah.
And I will be sitting on my white settee, and I will be surrounded by beautiful white cats, all looking sweet and angelic. And then around me will be my sweet and angelic children, slave laborers.
My God,
they're happy.
They will also be forced to look happy.
They will be forced to look happy.
Are the children allowed to play with the cats?
Of course, cats love to play,
but
they just have to be nice to the cats.
Yeah, but is that not treating them a bit like these cats are meant to be better than you, and they're treating them like little toys?
Well, no, because the cat demands to play with the mouse or the little feather on a stick.
Yeah.
With them until they're done. And then when they want to go to sleep, you leave them alone.
Do you know what's a bit cute? If the children who are 8 years old have these big swords, but then at the end of them where the handle is, they have a little piece of string coming out. So they can use the sword as a toy.
Multi-use, you just turn it around, and there's a string on the other end, and then they do the little...
And I foresee no accidents with that large, sharp object as 8-year-olds are swinging it around.
No problems there at all.
So you have this vast army of children and cats are there as well. And you're sitting on this...
How has it turned into a vast army of children?
Oh, I imagine it was like
10, but okay.
Oh, I imagine at least 200, but...
Oh, wow.
There was 5,000 people who stayed. There were bound to be more than 10 children within the 5,000 people who stayed on the island.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I was going to suggest you do that out by the beach then on a nice day.
Oh, yes. Walking along the beach, my white, flowy white thing flowing in the wind.
And it can be you like staring steely at the US warship that is pointing its guns at you.
Yes, and I'll have a beatific look on my face with my hands like this or like this. Yes, exactly.
Oh, beautiful.
But it'd be peaceful. Look, they're going to attack a peaceful religious figure for shame. Shame.
Okay. Since this is a full-on cult, I mean, let's be honest, there's something very shady going on in the background. Nobody knows. What happens? What are you doing?
Well, I'm definitely embezzling money from my followers.
Sweet. How much money do you think you have?
Oh, a couple million for sure. 13 mil. Make it a nice 13.
Really? Oh, I thought we were going into hundreds of million. I thought this is obscene. But
add a zero. 130 million.
130 million. Yeah.
Yes. Because remember, this part of America is full of tech people. There's a lot of money in the Pacific Northwest. And so lots of the people that stayed on with me are very, very wealthy. And in fact, I think that there might be a couple of executives from Amazon, Microsoft, and Expedia that are part of my...
That are part of... They gave up the job, got a golden handshake.
No, they just do it remotely.
Oh, yes. Okay.
We have a lot of remote workers.
Yeah.
We have really good Wi-Fi on the island.
Did you say Vashon Island had a lot of like QAnon people on it as well? You
know, there was a pretty large anti-vax community here. They managed to, and it was about the measles, you know, the mumps, rubella vaccine, and the whole sham about it causing autism went around. But apparently they had pretty good COVID vaccine rates here. So,
okay. So it's not,
and they never had a huge measles outbreak on the island, but it was something that health officials were worried about.
Right. But you won't have that. There's no outbreak of anything. Can you get
No, and that's why we can't have pregnant women on the island because they are susceptible to toxoplasmosis. So you have to do your pregnancy off island.
Toxoplasmosis, is that the one?
It's the parasite that it causes mice to change their behavior so that they're less risk adverse and they actually go towards the cats, and then cats can pass it through their feces onto humans. And I think there is some study that it can cause problems, like psychological problems in people, and it's pretty bad for babies.
That is when I was looking up as I was trying to write a story, and I was like, obviously this isn't a case of it happening, but if you're trying to figure out, how could I create a world where there is a zombie in the world? And you're like, oh, well, there is this thing, which kind of makes sense because it's, as you said, it changes behavior of a mice, or mice rather. So if there was some mutation in that, and then that goes into your head and it kind of makes you more zombie-like to just fucking do whatever you want. And then it said like half people on the earth have that, which seemed very,
Wow.
yeah. But
Interesting.
yeah, maybe one of us has it. Okay, so
Look at me.
So I do have I have two final questions for you.
Okay.
There's bad news. Who is your lead? Who's the captain of the children? Basically.
Captain of the children.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to bring in my co-host Jody. She has several grandchildren, a gaggle of grandchildren, as we call it. So she's actually good with children, but she believes in my leadership ability as a cult leader. So
Yes.
she would definitely be in charge of the children.
She wouldn't bring her grandchildren onto the island, would she?
She's not willing to put them into the program. So no.
Not
They
that
can
loyal.
come to
She would come along though and give you some bad news that there was actually a coup attempt. There was there was someone on the island called Jeff who thought they would make a better high priest. They said a high priest is better than a high priestess.
Oh no.
Yeah. Now there was him and 99 more people. It was a smooth 100 coup attempt.
Were they all men? Is it the patriarchy? Do we have to kick men off this island now?
I mean, it was all men. So they've been caught. The children have him surrounded.
Okay.
What you want to do with him?
I mean, unfortunately, I don't know if just kicking them off the island will be enough.
No, they could just come back.
I mean, I might have to have a labor camp on my island.
Ooh.
Yeah, I might have to have a cat litter processing facility where they process the cat poop into the fertilizer for the gardens.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Now,
I might have to, and then we'll have a reform program, of course. And have you seen the movie A Clockwork Orange?
no.
They try to reform him with that sort of thing. So there might be some light torture involved.
Okay.
Just light torture.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Yeah. Just the second degree burns, not third degree burns.
Well, and I'm thinking even more just the torture of the annoying. That hair that is poking you in the ear and you just can't get it out, sort of thing. Your shoe eats your sock, that sort of thing. That piece of food stuck between your teeth that you can't get out.
Oh God, this is very specific.
You're a constant wedgie.
Yes, yeah, you'll have people giving them constant wedgies.
Yeah, the tag on the inside of your shirt that's constantly
at the back of the neck. Or when the padding goes at the back of your shoe. Do you know when you're running and the padding goes on the back, so then you get a little cut on your ankle or whatever, the back of it.
Blisters,
I do have though. There's at least 7,000 complaints in saying they should be let go. A lot of people have signed this petition. I can give you some of the names. There's Graham, there's John, there's Mick, there's Adam, there's Ian, there's Stephen, there's Liam, and I can keep going. But all these people who have nothing in common seem to be very adamant that these 100 men should be let out and free and fine.
Nothing in common, but they're all men.
Oh, just the 100 men are all men, and these people
all those complainant names were all men, weren't they?
I don't see. There's Michael, Seamus, Paddy, Kevin. There's another Kevin, Darren.
Also, are they all
Miguel?
All Irish?
Big Irish contingent on the island. Miguel.
That's right. No, I do have Irish fans. Maybe not after this podcast.
Exactly. David. Yeah, I can go through. I can name 7,000. We can see out this podcast with. But yeah, are you okay with that? I mean, they're looking to surround the place you live in and protest.
Well, what are they wanting done with the men? Just to be able to go back to. They wanted to throw me. All right, they're off the island. Then I will release them, but they are banned from the island. Banned.
The 100. No, they're trying to block the ship that's taken away. These poor protesters.
I mean, do I have to bring out my army of orcas and capsize the boat?
Your army of orcas?
I didn't tell you about the army of orcas.
No, you seem to let that slip. Yeah.
Well, I forgot about that. I'm so sorry. It was secret.
Where
it was
did you
a secret.
Get that?
Yes. We trained them using LSD, kind of like John C. Lilly with the dolphin.
Oh,
that
okay. Yeah. And where did you get the orcas? SeaWorld. You
Well, no,
closed it
orcas
down.
live here. They live in the Puget Sound. They're native orcas. We
Really?
really like to support local wildlife.
Is there actually orcas, like orca whale?
Yeah.
Oh.
Killer whales. Yeah. They live here. Yeah.
I might go there sometime. Because I
Big
went.
army of orcas. They have little bazookas on the side of their head.
How do they restock them bazookas?
I mean, that's a trade secret. I'm
Oh,
so
okay.
sorry.
Sorry.
All of our
Okay, yeah.
military secrets.
Fair enough. So you're going to attack the protesters with orcas with weapons on their side of their heads.
Well, how would they block the boat if they didn't have another boat? So we've put the 100 men on a boat and we're sending them back to the mainland.
Yeah.
So you're saying that somebody else has another boat and they're trying to block the boat so that boat can't get to the mainland. So then we would send the orcas to capsize the attacking boat.
Oh, so they drown. So you've killed 7,000 men.
There were 7. How would 7,000? Is it a cruise ship? You can only fit that.
It was a big old boat.
Well, then they can't go all the way to the island, so we're safe.
Okay, so
it's not you can't get a cruise ship all the way to Vashon, I don't think.
Oh, sorry. It was actually 1,000 men.
No, it was a very narrow channel.
It was only 1,000 men. They were all in little boats. It was an armada.
Yes, I would drown the 1,000 men.
Okay, 1,000 men are dead. And okay, yeah, well done. Okay, so you've got rid of 1,100 men off the island. So it's now heavily slanted to favor cats and women. Are you sure you want to live in a world like that?
That sounds fantastic. Cats and women. Are you kidding me? I think people are going to sign up for my cult now. Cats
Hey,
and women.
When Celine figures out she can do better and leaves me, I'm signing up. Sounds great. She'll leave with my cats.
All of the radical feminist men that we can find who also love cats.
And orcas. At some point though, I'm sure the high priestess, although this is your sixth time living this life, you're going to have to think about who's going to take over from you, but I don't really know how it works when you reincarnate.
Well, I could be training up one of my acolytes for my spirit to embody later on.
Oh, okay.
Actually, maybe I'll start a breeding program. That would work.
With the men.
Here's what we do.
Yeah.
I find the finest specimens. I'm really digging a hole. I find the finest specimens on the island of smarts and sense of humor and resistance to cat allergies.
Yeah.
And we get them together and they make a baby that will be the vessel for my spirit once I die.
So you do like a reality show. You get two people together who are perfect, like the winners, and then they have a baby.
Yes.
That's the chosen one.
Yes.
Okay. Now, because of the whole kill some men who aren't deemed good enough. If the baby's a boy, it's fine.
I'm going to kill those men because they weren't good enough. I was just trying to banish them. It was the other men that got them killed. There, I am justified.
But the other men, but you killed the other men as well. You killed the protesters.
The 100 men we were trying to send off island, they just got caught in the fray. It was just casualties of war.
Yeah, but the protesters you murdered because you didn't like what they were protesting.
Some of them managed to swim to shore.
Oh, and they're roaming around the island.
Oh, not to our shore.
Oh, no, right. So they've gone to America.
Yeah, the attack dolphins would take care of anybody trying to get to our shore.
Naturally, yeah, I should have thought about that, to be fair. But I'm just wondering, with the child who shall be high priestess, if that is a boy, that's fine.
That's fine. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
He will just be raised in the ways of the cat.
The ways of the cat, you're fine. Okay. What type of cat is Bastet? Did I ever look that up?
I think that looks like a Burmese to me.
Oh yes.
For me, I think the best cat is a Tonkinese. So I'm going to say that the most highly exalted cat is a Tonkinese. Tonkinese and Siamese cats.
Oh, look at yeah, you're right. That's yeah.
I do like a Maine too, but they're huge and they're kind of more like they'd be like the guard cats. Also, they look like they're the cat clowns, so I'm into that.
No, I go with Tonkinese as well. Yeah.
That's my last cat. He was the best cat. So
that is you are raising up this acolyte to become the next high priest or high priestess. And you're just going to live on the island with anytime the men flare up, you'll get rid of them. But other than that, you're doing well.
Yeah, it's fine. Everybody's happy. They get to hang out with cats all day long.
That's fine.
Living on this island. They wear soft clothing.
I see no issues with this at all. So
everybody's really healthy. They're eating vegetarian, And
you're eating whatever you want.
I eat whatever I want.
That's fine. Okay, Shea, I am not calling you high priestess anymore because That's just odd. But thank you you're the first person who had like a downright cult. This is not a country. This is its own,
Oh,
but it is a country, but it isn't. This is Felis Supernus.
it's Felis Supernus, yes.
Felis Supernus. I'm surprised I kept up with that. Can I ask you, as Shea, where would people find your podcast and yourself?
Well, if you want to listen to me after I've enslaved children to
Pro child slavery.
pro child labor, I am not pro child labor. Shea is not. High priestess might have been.
Yeah.
You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. We are the Rainy Day Rabbit Holes Podcast. You can find us on Facebook at Rainy Day Rabbit Holes Podcast, Instagram at Rainy Day Rabbit Holes Pod. You can also find us on Threads. And if you just want a one-stop shop to find everything, it's rainydayrabbitholes.com.
All right. And just, I suppose, yeah, just again to explain that the podcast itself, in a different vibe, but also as weird, has weird fun stories about the Pacific Northwest. Like the recent one is the Montana State Prison.
Yes. So we like to find those fun and weird stories of Pacific Northwest history. And so recently we did one on the old Montana State Prison, which is supposedly haunted, even though I'm a skeptic, but Jody's a believer. So it's a fun dynamic. We recently did a couple of episodes about UFOs here in the Pacific Northwest. Like I was saying, the whole Men in Black phenomenon started here. The flying saucers started here. And the Pacific Northwest was a big part of the UFO movement that started in the late 1940s. And then we do a lot of stuff like I did the Salish Sea feet discoveries, which was about all the feet that have washed up on shore in the Pacific Northwest. Just fun things from history. We've got a lot of fun things coming up. I'm going to be doing a big series about Prohibition characters. Seattle and Tacoma were pretty rough places back in the late 1800s and early 1900s. And there were a lot of great characters during Prohibition, the bootleggers and rum runners, and yeah.
And I will say, without adding any other context, that you did tell me a little bit about the extra content that you you plan to release at some stage. That is very funny. And Bigfoot
we do
should
have
be
a
ashamed of itself.
Patreon. We will have bonus content up hopefully soon. One of them is a very special adult Bigfoot episode. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Just just
leave it there. And so if you want to support us on Patreon, you can find our Patreon on our website somewhere. And we also have some merch on there as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Shea, for joining us. And thanks everyone for listening to this cat specific episode of this podcast. And we'll be back next week, I assume. Bye.
Thank you. I feel like a crazy person now. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you shouldn't have done this.
No, I shouldn't.
No. All right. Bye, everyone.